I'm going to preview the Baylor versus TCU football game, which will be played on November 2nd at 7 p.m. Central Time on espn2. And as of this recording, Baylor's fed by 3 points. We'll have to wait and see on the spread between now and then. And same thing goes for the weather for the game. There are a lot of interesting dynamics about the game here, to say the least. And I dive into those right now. First of all, first time for Kendall Briles to coach against Baylor in Waco since he left. Some of the TCU staff is now part that was part of the Baylor staff where they won back-to-back Big 12 championships. I mean, and I know some of them were in Waco the previous time in 2022 with a walk-off field goal. I know, but still interesting to say that TCU does have a transfer from Baylor and Drake Dabney and all this. And Baylor will honor the 2013 and 2014 Baylor Big 12 champs. There will be a blackout for the fans in the stands. And that Baylor will also wear anthracite uniforms. And those players from the 2013 and 2014 teams will have the option to run the Baylor line. So, and both teams are coming off of back-to-back wins. Who would have thought that after the game before the bye week, they lost. I mean, TCU lost to Houston, but they beat Utah at Utah. But Utah's not the same team as back in a non-conference slate where Baylor played them. And they beat Texas Tech at last week by a point. And they came back to win at that. Now, Baylor is obviously, they beat Texas Tech pretty handily, 59-35, though it could have been worse in terms of the margin. But you get the point. A win's a win. And it did defeat Oklahoma State 38-28 last week. So there's a lot of interesting dynamics about the game, like I said. And this is more anticipated because of both teams winning the last 2 weeks. Now, not about the game. Let's dive into the game here. TCU runs an air raid offense. It's Kendall Briles. You know, he learned that from his dad and Philip Montgomery. You know, the previous OC at Baylor before he left to take the Tulsa job. It's similar style offense. They average 32.5 points per game, 108 first downs, 102.5 rushing yards per game. But they are not a running team, to say the least. They average 333 passing yards per game, which is so, wow. When you know the Browns offense back in the day was running the ball too. But whenever they got 100 yards rushing in a game, they win the game. They're undefeated. 45 for 104 on third down, 9 for 13 on fourth down. They allow 9 sacks and 36 tackles for loss. For whatever reason, they're not a great run team, but they can pass block. I can tell you that. But they have turned the ball over a lot. 8 interceptions, 10 fumbles. I mean, that's the thing. 23 pass breakups and 10 quarterback hurries allowed. They allowed 1 block kick. Now, time possession, 28 minutes, 1 second. Average 2/3 deep on the offensive line to range of 5 pounds. So what are some players to keep an eye on? And I'm just going to name the players' of height, the number, the classification, just to make it quicker. And y'all can check that out in the description below so y'all can see it. Obviously, Josh Hoover is their starting quarterback, number 10, 6'2", 200-pound quarterback. That is a sophomore. And I know they're more rolling with Jeremy Payne, but the leading rusher for the year, and I don't think he might not play a lot in this game, if any, is Cam Cook. Look, number 0, 5'11", 195-pound running back. That is a sophomore. There's Jeremy Payne, number 26, 5'10", 180-pound running back. That's a freshman. Yeah, he's been getting a lot more. And that's the only 2 guys at running back I really worry about, just to be honest. Because nobody else has above 53 yards rushing. And I doubt Dominic Johnson, number 25, 6'1", 230-pound running back. That's a junior, will play. Now, wide receiver-wise, they have some dudes when you look at the numbers. I mean, Jack Bech, Bech, and he was actually a Baylor transfer portal target when he was out at LSU. Number 18, 6'2", 215-pound wide receiver as a senior. And then there's Eric McAllister, number 88, 6'3", 205-pound wide receiver as a junior. There's Savion Williams, number 18, 6'5", 225-pound wide receiver as a senior. He has played Wildcat quarterback recently in the last 2 games. So there is film on that. So just keep that in mind. And there's J.P. Richardson, number 7, 6 foot, 195-pound wide receiver as a senior. I know they do have like Blake Noel, number 87, 6'4", 210-pound wide receiver that is a senior. And there's Drake Dabney, number 9, 6'5", 255-pound tight end. That's a senior. And I know there's 2 guys that are day-to-day, supposedly, when I looked it up. And that's Chase Curtis, number 81, 6'5", 240-pound tight end. That's a senior. And JoJo Earl, number 11, 5'10", 108-pound wide receiver. That is a senior. So that's pretty much all the guys you need to know. Now, defensively, they run a 3-3-5. They allow 28.25 points per game. They allow 155 first downs. They allow 166.1 rushing yards per game. So it's not as bad as Oklahoma State. It's not that bad. Not as bad as that, but it's still a bad number. And 173.75 passing yards per game. But keep in mind, who have they played? I mean, they played Barry Morton last week, but then he got hurt. I mean, in UCF that can't throw the ball, they actually they did throw the ball on him good. So we'll see if whether or not that number, those defensive backs are legit or not, whether it's a CB or safety. You get the whole point. And pass defense in general, because that number might be skewed. 52 for 125 on 3rd down, 5 for 13 on 4th down, 16 sacks, 38 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions, 3 fumbles. And they blocked 4 kicks, and most of those came in one game when you look at it. 27 pass breakups, 18 quarterback hurries, 31 minutes, 59 seconds time possession allowed. Average like 3 deep on the defensive line, 286.11111 pounds. But you get the repeating one. Now, defensive tackle / nose tackle, 300.8 repeating 3 pounds. And there's the defensive end, 256 and 2/3 pounds. Now, what are some players that keep it on defense? Johnny Hodges, number 57, 6'2", 240-pound linebacker as a senior. Nnamdi Obazire, or Objazor. I'm going to double check that right now. Yeah, it should be I. Yeah, it's Izor. Yep, just for making sure on that. Number 4, 6'3", 220-pound linebacker does a junior. And I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. And there's Jamel Johnson, number 2, 6'1", 200-pound safety does a sophomore. There's Bart Clark, number 21, 6'2", 185-pound safety does a junior. Abe Kamara, number 1, 6 foot, 109-pound safety does a senior. Travius Broughton, number 13, 5'11", 95-pound CB, that's a senior. Caleb Alarms, or number 3, 6'2", 235-pound linebacker, that's a junior. Devin Deal, number 11, number 6'4", 250-pound linebacker, that is a junior. And there's one guy that's likely to be out with an ankle injury, and that's Cooper McDonald, number 44, 6'3", 240-pound linebacker, that is a senior. Okay, trying to look and see here. Like, I'm gonna just go ahead and mention like Lamarian James, number 6, 5'10", 109-pound CB as a senior. There's Channing Canada, number 7, 6 foot, 185-pound CB as a junior. Now I'm gonna from here, I'm just gonna go like defensive lineman, because they do rotate that, and they do have guys there, but they don't have a ton of depth, so to speak. Nana Osofo Mensah, number 54, 6'3", 250-pound defensive lineman as a senior. Zachary Chapman, number 42, 6'5", 255-pound lineman, a defensive lineman as a freshman. There's Caleb Fox, number 90, 6'3", 310-pound defensive lineman as a senior. Hakeem Ajayolaiya. I don't want to think about pronouncing that name. Number 93, 6'2", 320-pound defensive lineman as a senior. Marcus Deal, number 95, 6'5", 325-pound defensive lineman as a freshman. Okay, I'm trying to think. Is there any other guys? Really just one more, and that's Timon Mitchell, number 91, 6'3", 320-pound defensive lineman as a senior. And there's only like two other guys, but no, both of those guys don't have a tackle this year, or even played. Now, special teams wise, they do have an Ethan Crawl, number 31, 6'3", 220-pound punter as a junior, and Kyle Lannerman, number 34, 6'2", 205-pound kicker that is a freshman. Obviously, across the board, you got to come out with energy for the game. You got to play fired up. And another thing I want to mention, Lorendo Snacks Johnson at CB should be back this weekend per David Aranda, but he's not so sure about Dominic Richardson at running back or Ketron Jackson at wide receiver. Dominic Richardson, as we all know, he's a running back. So, I'm just want to make mention of that up front, and as of yesterday, press conference. And another thing across the board, you got to make adjustments on the fly, not just from first half, second half, first quarter, second quarter, not just quarter, overtime. Hopefully there's no overtimes, but you get what I'm saying, like possession by possession, play by play, and you can't let one play, a bad call, beat you. So really, you just got to deal with it and move on to the next play and make plays to win. Now, the thing about special teams is you need to make sure no fake field goals, no fake punts occur on you, and don't allow any bad, like special teams blunders, like a kick return touchdown, punt return touchdown, return in general. And obviously, if you have that will really help yourself in this game here. Now, and you have a good blocking on that. And now, defensively, you just got to limit the big plays in this game. I'm not so worried about them running the ball, but you got to. They're similar to Colorado with the more pass heavy than the last two games, but they're very similar style offenses from the last 2 weeks, but they're more Colorado-like. You got to tackle better than last week. Another thing across the board, you got to limit your penalties a lot better on all aspects of the game. If they commit penalties, they commit penalties. But, for TCU. But you get what I'm saying. Now, you got to get some pressure on the quarterback without blitzing a bunch of guys, because the truth is, you don't want to leave the guys on islands and give them, what if they make a good throw and then you get beat 1-on-1? Then it's a long way. And they are going to try to do a lot of chunk plays. You got to create some havoc plays as much as possible, like force fumbles, get interceptions. And this is an opportunity right here to get some picks off of this guy, because when you look at the numbers, it's a lot of picks for this year. Now, offensively, you got to take care of the ball. You got to be smarter decision, Sawyer, whether you got to take off and run or just throw it out of bounds. And the offensive line needs to step up. Not just in run blocking, but pass blocking. And the same thing goes for wide receivers and tight ends for the run blocking as well. And those wide receivers need to find a way to win those one-on-one battles and make contested catches. And on defense, you want to make it hard for TCU as much as possible without interference, of course. And you don't want to have personal foul targeting either. So you get the point I'm saying about this is, and all this. And be prepared for Savion Williams to run the ball for TCU on offense. I'm just saying that. And you might just have bring 4 guys to the offensive line to just deal with and try to stop the run, which is only 4 or 5. 4 guys really. Now, obviously, Baylor, if you could get that run game going like you did last weekend, I'm not expecting over 300 yards rushing again, but if you get to 200, that will really help your cause. especially to keep the ball away from TCU as much as possible on the offense. And you got to take advantage of point, like if they do force a turnover by TCU's offense, you got to get some points on turnovers. And obviously on defense, you got to limit those points on turnovers. And that's what you did last week against Oklahoma State after that bad interception. You didn't, sure, Oklahoma State drove down, but then you forced a fumble and they didn't score. So, you know what I'm saying here. And you need to play angry for this game, Baylor. They beat the crud out of you last year. But at the time, you got to admit, Baylor didn't have much to play for. TCU had more to play for. Now, this time, it's a lot more motivation on your side of things and in this game. And you got to remember the time before that, too, where they beat you at home. So, and literally, and don't be intimidated by TCU. Don't be. Obviously, you don't want to get a penalty or anything, but go out and say, not really say, but go out there and prove a point to, you're not coming in here and beating us at home. We're going to show you who's boss. And let's go out there, give our best shot, see what happens for the game here. And this should be an entertaining football game, to say the least. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 7 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So we might not this. Of course, like a video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. So more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well. So more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe buttons, hit the notification bell as well.